Yeah, I found myself, just when I started writing, I found myself, I think on some nights when I was writing lyrics, I was saying we a lot, and I feel as though on this album I found myself saying I a lot. And there were just certain things I just felt more comfortable saying, just, as it just fallen on me, as just, my name. It's an interesting thing because I didn't even know how personal the album was going to be until I listened to the whole thing. Yeah. And I thought, I was already really excited about the idea of doing a solo album, but having finished it, and I got a copy, and I just sat in my backyard and listened to it, and it was the first time I'd really heard it entirely through, and I just started weeping, just crying, because I was just so proud of it, and also just it hit me so much emotionally, the lyrics and everything, so forth. And I found myself making an album called Grand Romantic. I mean, I just found myself not wanting to stray away from my feelings and the idea of love, the idea of falling in love. I found that something that you don't often get in an album or in songs. There's always, there's always songs about heartbreak, and they're tough to avoid because you get so much emotion out of them. But I started getting so much emotion also just out of being in love and just being happy, and I felt like I needed to write about that. I don't have pictures in my house of myself. I don't have any plaques, or I don't even know where my Grammys are. I'm not the type of person that ever looks back and reminisces. Well, I think I put a burden on myself by calling the album Grand Romantic. It was, I had the album title for about 2 years, whether it was going to be a fun album or whether it was going to be my album. I remember I had the title Some Nights for a while before I made that album. And I just didn't know, I just thought the two words were beautiful together, and so I didn't know what it was going to mean. And then as I started working on the album, I had all these love songs, and I was like, oh, it's going to be this grand, romantic type of thing. And then I realized, if you're willing to put yourself up so high to feel in love and everything like that, then you have to be willing to hit the floor, to hit the basement. And I think actually it's really cool that you mentioned that about the album cover, because I didn't even think about it like that.
Oh, really?
But I would definitely say that it's you can dress yourself up as much as possible and just say I'm happy, I'm this, I'm that, and there is just an inevitable sadness. At least for me, I think everybody struggles with feeling sad. And it's easier to feel sad than it is to feel happy. And I think that where the album starts is with this batch of love songs, and then you kind of see it, you hear it slowly turn, and things. There's a song called "It Only Gets Much Worse," and I think that's kind of that. That to me is almost like the climax of this emotional roller coaster. Beck is just someone that I've been obsessed with since I can remember listening to the radio, and he's always just been someone that I've looked up to because of his ability to constantly evolve or borrow from other genres. I've never really thought of myself as. So on this album, I knew that I had already done a duet with Pink, and I wanted to do a duet with a male singer, and I wanted to do it with someone who had a lower voice than me. And so I reached out. This was before the Grammys, and he accepted, and then we didn't get a chance to work together until about a week after the Grammys. And I was like, oh no, he just won Album of the Year. There's no way that he's gonna want to work together. And called me up, and I met him. He's recording at a house that overlooks the ocean in California. It's one of the most beautiful things, and he works 16 hours a day, and I found him to be one of just the coolest, most inspiring people to work with. He wrote a lot of the guitars and stuff like that, but I pretty much just had this song that I'd written in the shower. And I thought that it would sound so nice with the two of us singing. And I wrote a bunch of, I wrote the lyrics and I sent them to him, and I'm like, if you want to change anything, feel free to change anything. And he was just I sent him the song, and he was like, this is beautiful. So he just kept it the way that it was.
So,
She's amazing. She's amazing. She's a friend, and she was around a lot for the making of the album. Just hanging out. Like one night we had rented this house in Hollywood, and the intention was to, like, the person who was renting it out to us thought that we were just three people from New York that were staying there, but we were actually making a record there, and so we would have Leaky and another one of our friends. They'd come over and hang out and cook dinner, and so one night we had dinner and drinks, and we were like, oh, we've got like some gang vocals that we need, like, just coincidentally, you know, Leaky's here, let's just get her to sing. So I think she sings on, like, anytime there's a big group vocal, I think Leaky is in it. I don't even know if we gave her credit for some of the stuff.
Thank you.